Today we are talking about self-publishing on a shoestring budget, which of course for many of us is the only way we're going to get it done. And I do want to encourage you guys because publishing is a big business. It's $1 billion business. It's an industry. And when you get into it, a lot of times you can be a little bit overwhelmed by all that it takes to do what you want to do. But I want to encourage you today that your big dream is not going to be limited by your budget, okay? Big dreams, little money, no problem. I've been there, I've done that. And many of you connected with me years ago when I started Gospel Today magazine on a shoestring, $300, a 4-page newsletter, and God took that and just breathed on it. And 23 years later, it was the magazine of the nations and literally a global ministry. So I thank God for that. So I want you to be encouraged about your dreams, okay? Part of my passion is helping people to become published authors because I truly understand the power of print. The printed words on a page can become so life-giving, life-inspiring, just revealing things to other people through what you're able to do, to read. It really, for many people, they are not able to escape their surroundings, but books take you further than you can physically go. Books reveal things, they uncover things, they make you think of things, they make you dream, they can help you travel without leaving your home. So the printed words on a page are very, very important. And of course, we have some of the greatest example of that. One of the greatest examples of that is, of course, the Bible. The printed word of God is the thing that has inspired us for years and for decades and for centuries. So the power of print is important. And even as I began to think of the legacy and the enduring legacy of print, I thought of various authors who have changed America, changed the world because of what they wrote. Alex Haley with Roots. My goodness, where would we be without the story of Kenta Kunte and just how that whole thing was brought to life on the screen based on that book. Terry McMillan, who helped us see Black women in a whole new way. Sisters, friends, uniquely beautiful, uniquely different. Look at Angela Bassett, strong woman. Whitney Houston, beautiful in that portrayal. I myself have written 3 books, and I'm blessed that I've gotten great reviews and feedback from the books that I've written. And of course, my first book was How to Pursue Your Purpose. I talked about my journey of purpose. And in every book that I write, I share a little bit of what God has allowed me to do. My 3rd book is out. It's called Wisdom for Everyday Life, because I know that we can't live without wisdom. All right, so here we go. And I'm hoping that as we transition through this, anything that I've forgotten to say, you'll ask me, okay? So I'm hoping today that I'm talking to people who have dreams and visions, and that your dream is to become a published author. Some of you have books in your heart that you've been waiting to release, you've been struggling with for some time now. Today is for you. And some of you have already published books. I talk to people all the time who are on my feeds, who are already published and are working on the next, but because the publishing industry has changed, you want to sharpen your knowledge base, which is great. And you know what? I love helping all types of people. You can be a pastor, community leader, teacher, educator, musician, entrepreneur. It doesn't matter. My encouragement to you in this season is to do your dream in 2018. And hashtag, I'm doing my dream in 2018. I'm not going to stay with the blank page. I'm not going to be limited by my shoestring budget. I am moving forward. I'm doing my dream in 2018. Okay? Moving forward. Before we get into the core of today's topic, I want to encourage you to stay with me until the end again, because I have some special offers for you that I'm going to make to some of you who have made the sacrifice to be on this webinar today. Some of you here may not be ready to have your book out. Maybe you need a little more guidance. So you are ready for a book, but you can't do the book by yourself. And so you need a publishing consultant. You may need a publishing coach. You may need a ghostwriter. And if you need help, I am here for you. You've come to the right place. Self-publishing can be lucrative. It is accessible, but it's not always easy. Again, the self-publishing industry is huge. And unless you really study it and know how to navigate through it, you can spend a lot of money instead of investing a lot of money. So I have a website, and on my website, I offer a lot of free advice. I offer a lot of free coaching tips, but I also do one-on-one consulting and coaching, and of course, ghostwriting. So I want you to be aware of those opportunities. Okay, the marketplace of self-publishing is growing. Statista.com is a website that shares information about statistics. And I looked this up a few days ago, and it says that the revenue from global publishing, from the market across the globe, is about $113 billion. Okay, that's just in the United States, and it's growing and forecasted to be about $123 billion by 2020. That means almost a 10% increase in just less than 5 years. Wow, that's huge. So it's a great time for you to enter this marketplace. And you know, a lot of times we think about things and we overanalyze, and by the time the bubble is burst, then we talk about getting in. It's time to get in now. It's time to make your mark and your move now. Amazon is the leading entity for self-published books. Create Space is what they use there. Last year in 2016, well, 2 years ago now, 2016, Amazon published over 500,000 books. That's a lot, okay? And it's followed by Smashword, Lulu. And you know what? This is great timing for you to move forward in your publishing venture, okay? Let's go forward. So today we're talking about budget. How much will it cost you to do your book? And how can you minimize your overhead? What can you do with a shoestring budget, okay? Big dreams, little money. What can you do? Well, I'm here to tell you that where there is a will, there is a way. Today, we're going to focus on your publishing budget. Okay? So we're not going to talk about the how to write and all of that. We're going to really focus on the big picture, the money. Okay, where is the money? We're going to talk about it. All right, so the first step in doing your book, and you know, this is a DIY society, do-it-yourself society. So the first thing is, what is your big idea? Writing starts with what's in your heart. It starts with your passion. We got to pull on that passion, because what you are passionate about, nobody can talk about, nobody can present it like you can. What your purpose is the power that God has put in you to invest in the earth in this season, okay? So your passion, your purpose is the big idea that you need to start with as it relates to your writing. You might also have an experience or a series of experiences that you have been through, that there are lessons that you will pull out, and that becomes your big idea. But your big idea needs to be something where people gain information from you. Okay, I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna make sure that we're not interrupted. Okay. Hold on just a second. There it is. Okay. good enough. Uh-oh, let me go. Well, so your passion has to be something that translates to something that's going to educate people. Option one, which I just passed on my slide, says that your first thing is it costs you nothing because your idea, your experiences being written out cost you nothing. So that is going to be a zero investment in terms of your book. Of course, it costs you a lot to be who you are. It costs you a lot to get where you are and to know what you know. But to write it down doesn't cost you anything. It just takes you structuring it and putting it together. But now, on this slide that I'm showing you now, your big idea has another option because some of you have great ideas, but you don't have strategy and structure. And for those of you who don't have strategy and structure, I want to encourage you not to be limited in terms of thinking, oh, I can't do a book because I don't know how to write. I don't know how to put it together. I've been working on a book and struggling to put this book together for years, and it's just not happening. I want you to be encouraged this morning. Uh-oh, somebody mute your, can you guys mute your phones? I don't want you, I think somebody's giving me feedback there. Okay, I don't want you to be limited by, oh my goodness. There we go. All right, I don't want you to be limited by the things that you don't know about publishing because that's not all that it takes to publish, okay? Your book needs a strategy and it needs a structure. And many times that can be achieved through having a publishing coach, a publishing consultant, or even at the stretch of it, the biggest end of it, a ghostwriter. Okay, so what do those people do? Okay, those people help you to structure what it is that you want to say and how you're going to say it. A coach will help you structure your ideas. They will help you figure out the best format. They will give you advice on how to structure and present your book. What is going on in the marketplace? What's going to help you be successful as an author? That's what a publishing coach does. They can help you evaluate your concept and help you offer you other ways to present it that will help have good market appeal. Okay, another problem that many authors have is the lack of writing strategy. One of the biggest factors that I come across when I'm talking to writers is that a lot of times you just start writing. And there is a strategy to writing. There's a reason that published authors of many books can figure out and finish their books. They don't just start and put ideas all over the page, but there is a strategy. That's what a publishing coach helps you to do, is to help you write. They give you advice. They help you formulate your strategy. The second area is a publishing consultant. A consultant helps you with assisting you to write your book. Okay, so a coach provides guidance. A consultant actually takes that guidance a step further and provides assistance. You can write the book yourself, but you need assistance. That's what a consultant does. They help you with assisting you. Okay, they may take sections and actually move the sections around. They may change the chapter order. They may write a little bit for you to help you have an example of how to clarify your thoughts. Okay, then the third area is a ghostwriter. A ghostwriter writes in 4 different ways. One, a ghostwriter uses your thoughts and your words, but writes it out. Okay, the second way is a ghostwriter uses your thoughts and their words. Okay, the third way is a ghostwriter uses the ghostwriter's thoughts and words based on talking to you about your concept. The fourth way is that a ghostwriter uses their own thoughts based on the words that you give them. Okay, so all of this is in the area of ghostwriting. That normally, those prices For the coach is $199 a month. For consulting, $299, and for ghostwriter starts at $37.50. Now, these are prices that I actually share, that I give. Now, if you go online, you will find all types of pricing. And when I give you these prices that I have, they are well researched. I didn't just come up with these off the top of my head, but these are prices that I know are competitive in the marketplace based on my experience, based on my expertise in the marketplace that I serve in. Because I have a 23 plus years experience of writing for the Christian marketplace. So when I take on a client, they're getting the benefit of how to write, how to strategize, how to structure, how the flow goes, how to speak the language that the consumer will read and enjoy. So all of these things are part of your selection process in deciding what kind of help you want to get, whether it's a coach, consultant, ghostwriter, or whether you want to go on your own. Okay. All right. Step 2, your toolkit. All right. This is very, very important. Whether you're using a ghostwriter, a coach, or a consultant, you need a toolkit that you have in your own possession. One of the first things you need to have, of course, in today's society is a computer. You must have a computer to write a book. I don't know any other way to do it. And, I've heard now of people, because of, I've talked to hundreds of people now about books, people who grew up in an age of writing things down on paper, writing their journals on paper and that kind of thing. God bless them. But now we're finding that they have to get their stuff transcribed. So the easiest thing to do is have a computer and do your composition on the computer, have a word processing program. And most computers these days come with one. And your word processing program should have a thesaurus, and it should also have a spell checker. Those are very, very important, okay? Then you want to have a printer, and you want to have internet access. Okay, these are items that I have not factored into the cost of this, because I believe that most of you know that's what you need for the basics, and you have those things. Okay, but then there is software for authors that I want to encourage you to investigate. One of them is called Scrivener. Scrivener is a program, is a software program especially designed for writing and publishing. Now, Scrivener is going to run you about $45 for the software program. That is a good investment to make, because Scrivener will help you to organize your files. A lot of times you have a Word document, and then you have an Excel document, then you have photos, then you have stuff all over in different programs. Scrivener allows you to put different types of documents in the same program, okay? So that's very, very helpful to you. Your emails, your research, all of that can be housed in Scrivener. So do a web search for Scrivener, you'll find it. And if you look, you'll be able to even look for coupons for discounts. I believe there's a coupon floating around out there now for a 20% discount off the program. It won't save you much, but every penny counts, okay? We're on a budget. All right. The second software program I want to recommend that you get is Evernote. Evernote is an amazing program, and there are 2 versions. There's a version that you can run and that you can pay for, which is the premium version. It's $49.95 a year, and it includes more storage and a few more advanced features. But the basic program, which I recommend you start with, is a free program. Free, F-R-E-E, great word, okay? And it comes with up to 60 megabytes of monthly storage, and you can store various things. And what I love about Evernote is that you can clip items directly from the web. And a lot of times when you're doing research and when you're, thinking about, okay, I want to know about this, I'm writing a story on baptism, and I want to know what, sprinkling is, and why immersion and submersion, all of that. And you might, go to different articles, and you want to clip the article. Evernote will do that for you, okay? So those are 2 software programs that the total of it is an investment of $45, okay? Here we go. Step 3, editing. Okay, you've got your manuscript. Now you've got your big idea. You've got your software. Now you've written some stuff, but you need to edit. Your manuscript is not complete if you don't edit. And we say in the business, edit it or regret it. Okay, you've got to realize the importance of having a good edited product. Okay, now the first level of editing, or the first option for your editing, is that you do your editing yourself. Okay, again, we're in the DIY world. Now if you're good with punctuation, with grammar, with spelling, with syntax, with flow, with structure, with presentation, you're going to do a great job of editing your own manuscript. Okay, and if you're doing this, and I don't want you to think you can't do it, but it takes a lot to edit your own work. It's really, really like, almost being your own doctor, your own physician. It's difficult. But if you decide to do it, I would suggest these two things. Always print your book out. Print every draft of your book out, and you read the draft aloud. Hold it in your hand and read it aloud, and listen to yourself read. Okay, then you will find that, oh, this doesn't read well. I want to make some edits. You get your red pen and you make the edits on the printed page, then you put them back into the document on the computer, and then you do the whole process over again. When you finish your manuscript and you've read it and you've reread it and you've set it down, then you kind of sit back for a week. I've heard of authors who actually finish their manuscripts, and before they send it out, they sit it in a drawer or sit it on their desk, and they just let it rest for a week. And then they come back and they edit it again. Okay, that's very important, because your perspective will change as you think about what you've already written. So you want to give yourself time to rest, then go back and reread it, and then reread it again. Okay, so that's option 1, do-it-yourself editing, which only costs the paper for your printer. Okay, option number 2, and we're still in the editing process. Okay, the option number 2 means that I'm going to do different types of editing. I want to look at how all of this stuff works together. Now, I want to say before I go into these different types of editing, that you can get 1 or 2 people to edit your manuscript, even one person to do different types of editing. One person can do different types of editing. So I want to talk about the different basic types of editing that you will need. One is a developmental editor. This person deals with the content, the organization of your product, your book. They deal with rewriting, writing parts of it so that you can see how it should be clearer. They deal with helping your research be more comprehensive. They suggest other things that you may want to look into as research topics. They provide pertinent information. Now, the developmental editor sometimes can be also jobbed into the publishing coach, okay? Or the publishing consultant. The coach gives advice, the consultant gives assistance. So that all can be part of the development of your product. Then you want to move to the content editor. The content editor deals with moving or deleting, adding or rewriting your content to include your chapters, your paragraphs, and your sections. So the difference in the developmental editor and the content editor is that the developmental editor looks at the big picture, okay? The content editor gets down into the grooves of your manuscript. They will deal with the chapters. They will deal with the paragraphs, the sections, how things are presented, are the ideas flowing chronologically. Okay, so all of those things will help you. Okay, then the copy editor deals with spelling. They correct your spelling, the grammar. Is your punctuation correct? Syntax, your word usage. Did you use the word there, T-H-E-R-E, instead of there, possessive, T-H-E-I-R-E? are. Okay, so things like that is what the copy editor deals with. The copy editor also deals with the voicing and the meaning. Okay, so now the voicing is very important because a lot of times people will write a book or a manuscript and they will switch in the middle of chapters from saying you this, you that, you ought to consider this and to another voice and say, well, I think, no, you've got to have consistency. So the copy editor helps you to maintain consistency with your voicing. Another area that the copy editor helps in is, what if you're writing a novel and you have characters? Your characters, if Molly is 23 and she's a sassy chick, then you can't have her 5 chapters later being an old lady who's wearing skirts down to her ankles, okay? Molly has to be the same person, the same voice, the same character throughout your book, okay? So your copy editor will help you to maintain consistency with your characters, your voicing, okay? Now, do-it-yourself editing is possible. Again, all of these ideas are ideas that you, if you have a lot of time, a lot of expertise, you can do it yourself. But if you do it yourself and then you do most of the work yourself, you want to give it to somebody else to edit. And you want to give your editor the best possible draft to work with. So again, it goes back to you doing all the work that you can so that you can save as much money as you can. That means that when you go to option 2 and your editing costs you money, you're able to negotiate a better rate because you're able to say to an editor, well, what is your hourly wage? Okay, if it's $5, $40, $50, whatever it is, then you want to negotiate a flat rate for hours. Okay, and then you want to give them the best possible draft that you can. Okay, and that way you will get the maximum editing for the minimum investment. Okay, I hope everybody's tracking with me. Now, editing is a very, very fluctuating kind of endeavor. So that means that you may find an editor who is, you know, willing to work for $5, and then another editor who won't work for any less than $45, okay, an hour. And there are some general rules of thumb. Your manuscript word count really is the rule that helps you to negotiate, okay? So if your word count is low, then your investment will be lower. If your word count is high, most novels have high word counts. Those are more expensive to edit. But remember, your editing, it can be, you can find an editor online. And I recommend using some of these online sites like Fiverr, Upwork, because those editors there, you can shop for them. You can look and see what other kinds of editing they've done. And this is a really, really good way, especially with these systems today. Okay, so I want to keep moving. There we go. All right. Now, a final note about editing. After you've done everything and you decided whether you're going to do it yourself or get somebody else, you want to make sure that you copy edit. Okay, this is something that even if you decide to do yourself, you really should job out the job of copy editing. It is so essential. And those things there, correcting spelling, grammar, all of those things can be a part of the copy editing situation, which means that a lot of the things that you would do in depth with other types of editors, you can get a copy editor after you've done all the hard work, all the heavy lifting. You can get a copy editor to do the final stuff, okay? All right, so let's move on. Now, this is the fun part right here. We get to the cover. Yes, the cover. Now, what you do want to do with your cover, what you do absolutely, positively want to do is hire a professional graphic designer to do your cover. Not your cousin that went to a class and took a class at art school, not your nephew, Nim, who know how to do stuff on the computer. You want a professional graphic designer to do your cover. There are certain rules of how you do things in print that sometimes people miss, and it comes out with covers looking fuzzy, you know, stuff that's not the proper resolution, all of that stuff. So you want a professional graphic designer to do your cover. And again, this is a negotiable item. I want to kind of fast forward through this because it's very, very important, but there are two ways to do your cover. One is you can have a unique design that may be something that you love. If you see on the screenshot there, you see balloons, whatever your design is, it can be something that your designer makes up. It can be with using your photo. Okay, you're very photogenic. You want to be on the cover of your book? Okay, there you go. Okay, or you can use a template. That's the second way. The graphic designer price will be different if you use a template, which is the lower end of the graphic design price, or the higher end, which is a unique design, your photo or something else that you want to create. Okay, so you have to decide what your budget is for your design. What are you comfortable spending? Most designers work on an hourly rate, and again, you can negotiate a flat rate, okay? So you want to also think about using online vendors for creating your cover. So once you know your concept, once you've decided on your budget, then it's time to contract with your designer. You need to have verbal clarity. Yes, you've got to talk to your designer. I don't care what world they're in, third world, fourth world, you've got to talk to them so that you get an understanding that is verbally agreed upon. Okay? The second area that I want to talk about with this cover is so important that your communication is not just verbal, but it is also written. You want a written contract with your designer that has details of your concept, the photo types that you're going for, and you can find these contracts very easily online. And some things you want to know. How many concepts are you going to offer me within my theme, you know, my overarching concept? How many different looks in that concept? Will you work on this negotiated budget? Because I don't want you to wiggle out and tell me, well, it cost me extra. This is all the money I'm going to pay you, and I want a complete cover. And if you notice in the visual on the screen, I'm talking about a cover that includes your back and your front and your spine. That is what a book cover includes. None of this, just the front cover stuff, okay? You want a complete cover. And you also want to know, how long is it going to take you, ma'am, sir, to finish my cover? I would like to see a draft in X amount of days. I would like to get a completed cover by X amount of days. And this is something that you put in writing, okay? Also, you want to make sure that the source files for the cover are also included in your rate. Source files are not just the final PDF that goes to print. Source files mean that you get the raw file, and that raw file is important because then you can do your ebooks, you can do your promo books, you can do your flyers, anything else that you want to do. You can also tweak it. What if you get through and you decide, oh, the Lord woke me up in the middle of the night and I'm about to go to press tomorrow, but I need to add a word on my cover. I need to put a scripture on the back, okay? That's the stuff that you can do with your source files, okay? Here we go. All right. Interior formatting. A lot of authors, self-published authors, miss this area. And a lot of times books come out and they're just pages of words, pages of words, pages of words. That is very boring, okay? You want to have your interior of your book formatted. Formatting makes your book so much more interesting to read. It gives your book character. It gives your book a flow and a feel, okay? So you want to make sure that your interior is formatted, and there are templates out there that you can use to format your book on the interior. And many times you can populate the template yourself, okay? Another DIY opportunity. or you can get your designer to do it. Now, this one is a little easier, and sometimes you can get that cousin who went to art school, okay? Or that nephew who knows how to do stuff on the computer. All right, so you buy your template, or you get a free downloadable template, and you can get your designer, negotiate another flat rate with them, use another online vendor, and this is something that makes your book much, much more interesting to read. Okay, here we go. Now, this is one area that I do not want you to skimp on, which is hiring a professional photographer and doing a photo shoot. Yes, don't even think about not doing a photo shoot. You need a photo shoot. Why? Because when you go to speak about your book, what are they going to put on the flyer? Your photo, your studio photo, okay? So you need a great photo or two, and then you need to decide, okay, when you meet with your photographer, get references about who's doing great work. Of course, this is a local person, because you can't get a photographer via the internet that doesn't live in your area that you go to do a studio shoot with, okay? So you need to negotiate a flat rate with your photographer. Do it at a studio, or if it's on location, which is very, very difficult, and I don't recommend it for people who are starting out for the first time, use a photographer who has a studio or who can rent a studio, and make sure they have lights. Oh my goodness, yes, they have to have lights, or else it'll come out looking amateurish, okay? So you have to have lights. And the main thing is that you have to have a concept. What is your concept for your photo? How are you going to use them? Do you want your photos to be formal, casual, elegant? Do you want to look like a clown? Do you want to look like a chef? Do you want to look like a business person? Do you want to look like a preacher? What do you want to look like? Make sure that you have one look and then an optional look. Okay, do you want to look like the girl or the guy next door? What do you want your photos to look like? Also, make sure that you consider your wardrobe and your backdrop. What is that going to be so that it shows well? And if you look at the photo that's on the screen now, you see that the backdrop is plain. If I wanted to put words on that backdrop, it would be very easy to do so. Now, if you're thinking about using your book, your picture on your cover, you definitely want to leave room on there for words to go on the background, okay? A lot of times people take photos and there's a lot of space around them, but you see how it's much more attractive when there's not space around it, okay? Another thing with your photographer and your photo shoot, make sure that if you're going to the studio and you're sitting in front of those lights and your outfits are there and you've got those looks ready, that you absolutely take time to get your hair and makeup done. Oh, yes. And I don't care if you're a guy, makeup is important. Yeah, that means that you get your wife, girlfriend, sister girl, somebody to find you a shade of makeup that complements your skin. You don't want those bumps and those razor hair things to be showing up on your photo, okay? You want to look smooth and beautiful, yes. So you don't have to have a full face of makeup, but let somebody beat you down with some powder, and I promise you it will be worth it, okay? Now, how many photos do you need? You need about 15 to 20 photos of each shot, each look, okay? Because you want to choose different looks. If you notice the photos that you see of myself, Dr. Hairston, you will see various looks in the same outfit, but you'll see my hands are different. My head is tilted one way or the other. You want to make sure that during your photo shoot that your movement is natural, but it's also that you have some options to choose from. You might not know how you look, so take time to stand in the mirror and check out your look. Check out which side of you looks best, okay? All right, everybody got a good side. You got a good side. I don't care what they say. All right, we're almost there, folks. I'm sorry, I'm getting excited and I'm saying a lot, but hopefully you're getting this, all right? Now, you want to shop for some good online printing prices. We're ready to put this whole book together. Shop online for printing prices because they will offer you things, sometimes free shipping, sometimes bonus copies of your book. And also you want to always make sure that an electronic proof is included in the price that you are quoted. Okay, I've seen printing for as low as $1.29 per copy and up to $3 per copy. It depends on how many books you're ordering at once. Okay, so it's important that you consider all of those things, and that as you're putting it together, you consider what your budget is overall. Okay, and finally, as you're thinking about putting it together, make sure that you speak with the printer and that they are accessible. If you can't get them on the phone to talk to you about anything except spending your money, they're not your people, okay? And also make sure that when you get your proof, that you're reviewing your proof, you're printing it out, you're looking at it carefully, you're reading every word. It may take you a day or two to go through it, and make sure you set aside a time and that you think through all of the things that you want to have in that book, because it's too late now to start all over. So just make sure that everything there is correct, okay? And then you're ready to sit back, exhale, and you got about 5 minutes to start to exhale, and then you got to start promoting and preparing for your next season as a published author. You're going to prepare your release party. You're going to prepare now to send out those letters and tell everybody that you're a published author, your book is ready to come out, and you're getting ready to go to the next place, okay? All right. So I hope that you guys have enjoy today's webinar. I know I'm really right at the end of the time that I promised you. I want to unmute you and allow you to have any questions